SD, Age-3 Normal, Orbital, and Fortress. Hey, what's up again everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, Gundam Reviews.net, and if there's one thing that can be said about Gundam Age, it's that it's got a lot of lead Gundams and variations between the Age 1, 2, 3, and FX, not to mention that 3 wears a pop, and that 3 thing continues here with the Age 3 times 3 in the form of the super deformed Age-3 Normal, which is also going to come with the parts to swap off the wares for the Fortress and the Orbital. This is a 2012 release, and at 1200 yen is 200 yen more expensive than the Age 1 or 2 SD. Made in Japan by Bandai as usual, with some very cool cover art there with all 3 wares shown off well. There's the name bar, and there you can see. You want to talk about a successful line? How about BB Senshi all the way up at 372? For these SD kits, you only need to buy one, and you can do all 3, but you're only going to be getting one chest and head, so all you get to do is you're going to be getting multiple limbs, so you can swap those on and off. You'd have to buy 3 copies if you want to get all the versions of the Age 1 with the Titus and Sparrow. That cheapens a little bit with the Age 2, as you only need to get the normal and the double bullets, only 2 required there. I guess another one if you want to transform those, or 2 I suppose. The Age-3, again, if you want all 3, you'd have to buy 3 boxes, and in the shop, I think, you can see that the Age-3 Normal is going to be looking great with lots of color wraps in there, but remember, this is painted by a pro, not out of the box. Gotta see how that goes, but you can see it's going to have lots of details built into the back, and that it's going to transform into the G-Scepter and the Core Fighter there, and then you can see that it's also going to turn into the Age-3 Orbital, which has some great color wraps there. In terms of the red on the feet, the red on the shoulders, some white and gray there. Looks pretty cool, and this can also transform. And then if you go all the way over here, you're going to have another variation in the form of the Fortress. You can also switch up the eyes between cartoony and serious, and you can of course see the Core Fighter on the back there, but it looks like he's going to have a lot of gray built in and some cool looking front skirts there, and he is also going to transform into the G-Hopper. And for action, weapons, and gimmicks, how about the Orbital? You can see that it's up on an action base too there, sold separately, but the feet can change for between being flat, so you can have it on the ground, or you can also put it up in its trademark feet down pose, which has been recreated in the advanced grade so well. You can take the Sigmasis rifle and put that on the back, which is very cool, and you're going to have a whole bunch of extra wares, as you can guess, but they're going to give you a BB Senshi original gimmick in the form of the hanger here, and it looks like you can take the other 2 wares. If he is the normal, well, you can take the Orbital and the Fortress parts and put them somewhere useful instead of just in a Ziploc. Some cool looking CG on the other side, and then you can see from the number of plates there that this is better than a high grade. It looks like you've got tons of multiple plates, lots of colors, a big sticker sheet though down below, and lots of English there if you're not sure what this is all about. And here you can see not painted up by a pro, I'm assuming this is right out of the box. And you can see that the normal is going to have yellow on the shoulders, which looks great, tons of colors there in the chest, Sigmasis rifle and the V-fin looking incredible. The Fortress is going to have some gray legs there, white on the feet even, something you don't expect to see in an SD. All their transformations are going to look okay, but probably something that I'm not going to show off all that often, well, outside of this video. And the Orbital looks like he's got a lot of color wraps there on the waist and shoulders. It remains to be seen how much of those are from the seals down there, and how much of those are going to be actually done in plastic. And in terms of gimmicks, you're going to be getting the weapons for the Normal and the Orbital. How about that hanger and the Core Fighter? It looks like it's got some green parts on there. Overall, this should be a lot of fun, even if you don't put in any painting effort. Inside the box we go, where you are going to see that big sticker sheet there on the top. 8-plate all in white, some polycaps there. You're also going to be getting some red and yellow, and it looks like some red parts have broken off there, so be careful. Remember, these are like Caropla, where you can just sort of pop them off. You don't necessarily need nippers. Then again, you're going to see that in the packaging a lot more with that. D and B plates here in blue and gray, very impressive. 4 full plates to go along with the manual. Again, hard to believe that this isn't an HG. To the plates themselves, where the A plate isn't going to have any colors in it, but it's still going to look pretty impressive. You've got the big parts there. You're going to have 3 different waist sections, so you can swap those on and off, but probably the base will be similar down here, which we've seen already with the Age 1 and 2. The head parts are looking pretty cool. You've got these small little parts there for the elbows, which should provide pretty good articulation. The faceplate there is going to have some, you can put some edging on there if you want to use a lining marker. The Orbital's feet are going to look pretty unique, and over here you're going to have the Normal, but you're going to have some pretty small parts there, and it looks like you're going to actually have the foot covers there done in white, which is amazing, because you know on SDs in the past that would have been done with seals, if at all. The B plate is going to provide all the blue there, and you can see that they've got the Core Fighter really, really large. It looks like it's just going to put a seal on there to provide the cockpit part there. Some pretty cool small parts there that are going to attach onto it. You've got the feet there for the normal and this chest part, which I'm assuming will be common for them all. I guess you'll put a seal in the middle. And it looks like this part here is going to wiggle up and down. I don't know if that's going to come into play for the transformation. But the normal shoulders, one thing I love to see there is that it's got a space to put on the yellow parts there. No seals for that little bit of extra. And you've got the old double Zeta flaps there to go along with the all-important V-fin blue cover. Broken parts aside, or at least dislodged parts aside, it looks like you're going to get all these orbital parts here. You're going to have the feet, the forearm parts, the cool looking shoulders, which are obviously all the colors going to come from seals, it looks like. You've got these cool parts for thrusters and on the sides of the hips. And more importantly, for the main actual body, you're going to have this part for the chest. Amazing that the lower chest is actually provided in red to go along with the white and blue. Just astonishing again for an SD. And it looks like that part there is going to attach onto the waist section and probably be in common for all three. Before the D plate is going to wrap up the four main parts, astonishing again. But you're going to have the big hanger part there, which has got a lot of the little things that you can attach onto it. It looks like front and back, so you can get two wears on there. One set of fists only, that's the back of the head. And then you're going to have mostly fortress parts there. So fortress legs, fortress shoulders. Looks like that the cannons are actually going to move a little bit up there. Here's the four cannons themselves, which is going to go on CeraV style. And then you've got the Sigmassus, which is looking pretty cool. And it looks like it's got these unique forearm colors there to go along with the dome-like feet. But how about this for the E-plate? Love to see that you're going to be getting a yellow neck there, which is going to look great to go along with that massive V-fin. You're going to get the blue on top of that, and then the red jewel with a seal. Just, again, fantastic for this kind of scale. And then you're going to have these all-important parts, which I think are really going to bring the normal and the fortress to life, and certainly make them, I think, stand out just a little bit more than the orbital, which seems to rely a lot on seals. As you can see here from the amount of white and red, these are going to go on the shoulders, these are going to go around the forearm parts, it looks like. Then you're going to have these for the skirts, these are going to go on the fortress's skirts, it looks like. Only two sets of eyes, and I don't think that he's got the flip around eye part, which is a little bit disappointing. It's been fun to see that in sort of the BB Legends line. And there you've got all the important sensors there to go on in the front for the Age system. So you're going to have a lot of seals, but it looks like it's only going to apply to one of the three wears. Love that cover art there for the manual, and as you go inside, no X's there, so all the parts are going to be used. You've got PC303 and PC7s. There's your missing parts down there. D10, so that's the hanger, is going to be 100 yen to replace. And after you build up the head and the chest, look at the number of steps here, 71 on these pages alone. It looks like you're going to build up the normal, then change it into the fortress, then change that into the orbital, and then it's going to show you how to do the transformations here. Before the back, which is all in color, is going to show you how to store here. For if you've got the normal, then you can put the fortress and the orbital on, and you can do that for all of them. It looks pretty similar the way that you attach them onto the hanger. Still a great gimmick, and then you can see Old Man Flit there in the Age 1 SD getting into a fight with his sons before you get to see the Wear 3s. So I suppose you could buy 6 of these SD Age 3s if you wanted to have them transformed on your shelf to go along with the 2 or 4 Age 2s. Certainly a big chunk there, and the hangers, again, so much better than a plastic bag. From the unbox alone, I couldn't be more pleased with what we've seen inside. 4 full plates, a nice rich E-plate there. The V-fins in the chest look like they're going to have incredible details which you can swap in between. The only problem being is that it is 1,200 yen, but then again, we've seen high grades that cost more and give you less. Anyway, everything else except for the seal, so I think the orbital is probably going to be the weak sister of the group here. But then again, if you want to get 3, you can have all 3 on your shelf at the same time. So stick around and I'll show you all 3 shortly with all the parts and everything else like that. So why don't you let me know what you think of the Unbox, the Age-3 normal in general? Are you enjoying the SDs more than the AG or the HGs? Love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time. Over and over and over.